very few moments where we actually sat down with the kids and tapped in one-on-one conversations. How are you? How are you doing? Yes, with the girls, I know that I had some conversations I've been planning to have with them. I mean, they're growing. But in the God area, I feel like, we could have done much better.
It also comes down to me not being intentional about mentioning that this needs to happen. So that's...
Yeah, I guess you can't entirely carry the blame, but again, you're the high priest of that home. So that's on your shoulder.
That's mine, yeah.
But yes.
That's mine to carry. We are back, everybody, from a long holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah, very long
Pretty
holiday.
Long. Unplanned, but long.
Yeah, unplanned. And this is Covenant Union with Ray.
And Ali.
And we're excited to be back. I mean, we missed it. Yeah, we missed it.
Yes.
We missed it.
We did.
Before going into the term holiday for the kids, many of us parents have these dreams. We're going to do this, we're going to do that, and I think our major plan was to travel.
Yes.
Yeah, to go up country and let them enjoy their roots, yes. Mm. And it happened. So for so long we had been saying we're going to do it, and there's always a reason not to go, but we made it a point to do that. And among those, there are plans of, we're going to do homework like this, and make sure this is done like this, and then the children are going to have these chores, and all those plans are so nice before the holiday starts.
And then when the holiday starts, they come home and it's impossible to keep a grip on everything.
Yeah. Possible and impossible.
Yeah. Well, there's structure.
Yes, there is.
I feel like, we have many kids. So some of our nieces and nephews live with us, and when they come home during the holidays, it's full house. So it's really hard to, you have all these plans like you said, but it's hard to keep on top of everything the way you'd want it to play out. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you just have to go with the flow.
Yeah, that's true. And there's the discipline factor. Then you have to make them have fun, because they can't just sit there as kids. Mm. And I think the most exciting thing that started off this holiday was Jethro's birthday.
Yes.
Yeah, it was done so differently. And from there we just went from program to program to program. And when we decided to breathe, we were like, wait, there's still work to be done.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was fun.
Well, basically that's why we've really been away.
Yeah.
But also I feel like for me it was a major lesson going forward to really plan out these vlogs to the point where there's more consistency, or actually be intentional and know that during the school holidays, that is when we also take a break from the recording, or some sort of plan.
Yeah. And I think coming back from the break, all we wanted to talk about what we learned throughout the holiday, throughout this break we had throughout the holiday. And there are quite a number of lessons. I found that I learned a new meaning of being proactive. Yeah. And it was, how everyone thinks being proactive is taking the steps to do something that is supposed to be done, and that's just about it. But I dived into it, I read about it, and then I realized that being proactive actually is a choice that you make between whatever the environment is giving you and how you respond to it. And during the holiday, I learned that my response, should I say my emergency response, is so slow. I like to stop and think, and sometimes you don't have that option, because when you stop and think, then things spiral out of control.
The problem doesn't stop it. In the meantime, while you're thinking,
the problem still keeps
getting
going
deeper.
So it got me into this search in myself. How do I make myself better in that sense? And this holiday taught me that being proactive is a practice. You choose to do something different to get some different response, a different outcome in your life, a different result. And does it work? Yes, it does. It does. Because I can give an immediate example. But from like when the environment changes, someone says something that hurts you and hurts your family, and having that thought of, let me first think, does not help your family because they're in pain. So as a man, the first thing is, it's different when a thief walks in. When a thief walks in, I see physical, time to fight. But verbal attacks usually have different implications. Like, you're trying to understand where the other person has come from. But in the process of understanding where the other person has come from, you find that you're letting your family, you're letting your spouse or your children get into, you're letting them experience the pain longer. So verbal attacks usually can be brought down, and I learned that.
Good lesson. Let's see, my biggest lesson was in the busyness of life, in the overwhelming situation of having all the children at home and trying to keep the house clean and trying to keep everybody fed and trying to work and provide and do all these things and somehow keep them on top of their schoolwork, but find a good balance with entertainment. I found that we really were not hands-on in the God area. And I thought about it after they'd gone back to school, and I'm like, we had very few moments where we actually sat down with the kids and tapped in one-on-one conversations. How are you? How are you doing? Yes, with the girls, I know that I had some conversations I've been planning to have with them. I mean, they're growing. But in the God area, I feel like, we could have done much better. And I know that that's something we are going to do better going forward. Spend more time, even if it's 10 minutes as a family every other day or so, and just maybe pray together or read the word or something. And
it's something that we actually put in place some time back.
We used to do that a lot, and I think that's where my thought process was. I'm like, wait, it's not like we've not done it before. So what was different that we didn't
key into it?
We didn't pay much attention to it.
It also comes down to to me not being intentional about mentioning that this needs to happen. So that's...
I guess you can't entirely carry the blame, but again, you're the high priest of the home, so that's on your shoulders.
That's mine,
But yes.
That's mine to carry. And apologies. And I did think about it. Again, proactive. And then another lesson for me was that we can actually work apart. That was an interesting lesson, and we didn't die.
Well, you adjust. You must, when circumstances change, and you must do what you have to do.
So for a very long time, we always work together, whether it's the business, whether it's home, and we had to reach a point of splitting, which actually works very well, the teamwork. But then I feel like it also, because we're so used to being together and we have many conversations when we're together, I feel like we slacked on our conversations.
That's very true.
And it showed up in different areas of our lives. You see, there's some potholes and some rough roads that you go through more when you don't have those conversations we usually have. So going forward, we're being intentional in having conversations that we actually usually have when we're at work, when we're driving
just
together.
Somehow
Just we need
finding the time, even when we are not together all day, every day.
Yeah.
We are in a season where we have no house help currently.
Yeah.
And if it were up to me, I would keep it this way, because the peace that I feel, I can't quite describe it, because I didn't even know it's something that I wanted. So, but when there's somebody to help you around the house, to do all these things for you, you don't even realize what's missing. And now that there's nobody, there's such a peace.
Yeah.
And I've sort of found a rhythm that's allowing me to do things the way I want them, to take care of my family, take care of you, take care of the children, take care of our home, and still have enough time for myself, and things are being done the way I want them.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't know if it's a lesson or decision, really. It's something I'd love to carry on for as long as I can. Yeah, do that and still find a balance to be able to work, for me would be a dream come true, really.
Well,
but also in that respect, I have so much admiration and so much respect for stay-at-home moms. Two things. Because now that I'm doing the stuff myself, I don't see what's really complicated. Because normally by 9 a.m. I have everything covered, which allows me then to go to work. But I can understand when people opt to stay home. I mean, if you can afford it, please, by all means. But it also makes me wonder why, and not to bash house helps, by the way, they are God's blessings to us. But I think every family that uses house helps experiences those back and forths. And you wonder why you'll come back at 6 p.m. and the house is a mess and things are done upside down, and there's zero accountability. It's not complicated. I get stuff done by 9-10 a.m. and
I guess part of it is knowing because you know exactly what you want, you know how to do it, and you know how you want it done.
Yes.
So when you explain to them, you might explain to them 1,000,000 times,
but they will
not understand it the way, yes.
Yeah,
they
the
want
way
to listen,
intend
and
for it to be
there are very
understood.
few who get that.
I was having a conversation with my sister about this, and she said something that really struck. She said, you see, when you write CVs, we like to say you work under minimum pressure and supervised. You write all these fancy things that in reality are not true.
Yeah.
And in this case, I'm like, yes, come to think about it. They tell you how they'll do all this stuff, and you take the time, do the orientation, you try your best to be as good as you can to them. I mean, you treat them the way you treat your family. And, well, for me, it's been a big lesson, really. It's been a big lesson.
Remember, the book of Proverbs says that no matter how much you teach a servant, they will never hear you out. Yeah. It's so strange that Solomon wrote about that. Like, wow.
Well, I mean, everything is in the Bible, which is not true.
Yeah, that's the thing. We
say it.
We don't read it. Until it happens to you, like, wait.
Yes, but I was told. Why am I shocked?
Yeah, so you find that when you give instructions and they're not done, I think getting angry is the last thing you should even think about. I
think for me, this season has been all the times I have had to let our house helps go. I've had like a feeling of anger. This was the first time I was at peace. I'm like, you know what? My children are now older. And I think then, because they were younger, I knew I really needed the help.
And the business was such a baby.
Yes, the business was a baby. Still growing, yes. And even the kids are not that old. But they know how to clean up after themselves. I can send them for something. I don't have a baby in the house that needs to be babysat all day long. They hear and take instructions well. Like, this is workable. This is very, very workable. Maybe that will have to be a whole podcast on its own, a whole episode.
And I must say the kids are so happy.
Very happy, very handy.
So handy. They help
it's amazing
out.
to see them offer to help.
Oh, yeah.
So yesterday I walked into the kitchen and Jethro was trying to do the dishes. And normally I'll let them do the dishes when it's mostly plastic stuff, but there's so many breakable things. And I told him, no, I'll get this. And I could see the disappointment on his face.
Yeah.
And it just warms my heart, really.
And he ran away from there, went to polish the shoes.
Like, I'll find something to do. Yeah.
Then Jazzy got the rake and went to the compound to rake. I'm like, what are you doing? The rake is taller than you.
Yeah.
But that was nice when you drop them back from school and you see them trying to be hands-on.
Yeah.
It's
nice.
Interesting that they have noticed there's no help and we need to step up.
To do something.
Yeah, I think any more lessons for you?
Any more lessons? I think really more. This holiday made me appreciate God in a special way. And I hate to say it, but I feel like we are so busy with life, with the kids, that I even wasn't praying and doing the things I normally do, or the things I've committed to do, the things I've sat down with God and said, God, I'm going to do this on a daily. But He kept showing up and showing out. Like His faithfulness has no conditions. It doesn't matter that I wasn't doing my part and keeping my part of the agreement. He was still showing up and showing out. Like, I sit sometimes, this morning as I was praying, I was telling Him how my heart is heavy and I'm very fearful about so many things that should have been done by now, but they are not done. But still there's that sense of gratitude and the knowledge that when has He failed me?
It's not about you.
It's never about me. And just the process of surrender and just a work in progress. But His faithfulness has no conditions. It knows no bounds. He is God. He is God.
And one of the things I had to adjust because of that time with God was the wake up time. And to take it way down. Wake up in the wee hours so that, not wee hours, but early morning, so that we don't have the excuse of saying time and and it has worked. And the time I spend with Him is so interesting. And then the nights also, I do morning and night and afternoon. But the night is a time when I am thanking Him, and it feels like that's the time He shows up a lot. It's like He hugs you. It's like He's right there for you, and your grievances of the day just seem to fade away. And when you go to bed, there's that peace, and you sleep. And sleep, you don't wake up thinking, okay, now I need to do this, and then you sleep, you wake up, and the problem that was there maybe the previous day, you probably get up with a solution, and the solution is right in your face. Like,
God
wait,
is amazing.
this is strange. I was complaining about this yesterday, and now in a blink of an eye, there's a way out. So putting Him first and last, Alpha and Omega. I think it's the best thing I've done this season.
Yeah.
So we'll be continuing with our episodes throughout the term.
Yes.
And
I think also plan better.
Yes.
Really plan better to be as consistent as we can. When God calls you to a place, you show up. No matter what, you do what He's called you to do. Yeah.
And it feels really good to be back in ministry. It's a nice place to be. We'll be talking about many things: parenting, marriage, Christian living here at Covenant Union. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, and we'll be right here. Thank you so much.
We'll see you next time. Just as we sign off, take time off and think back on your holiday and the things you've done with your kids, and think on the things you were so happy to do, the things that you were able to plan and actually stick to, but also the things that you wish you had done, and make that note to do better, to follow up on the next. God bless you.